What's up, geeks and gamers? My name is Draymond, and welcome to Thorium Gaming. We're back with episode 23 of Light of the Azure, our attempts to stabilize the Great Vortex and save the old world. It's been going rather rough, all things considered, but it's been a lot of fun. So, out east, we've started capturing all of the cities of Yvresse, because we've had to go to war with them. We are still allied with Avelorn, mostly. And the rest of the elven nations like us enough not to be messing around with us. Avelorn, of course, took the Phoenix Gate last time. And way out west, over in the Coldlands, we hold ground with Chaplain Grimaldus there. So we're starting to build up some army stacks, especially up north here with Will. And down in the southeast, Oric and Phoenix are the ones that are taking some names here. They still have some time before we can engage that siege properly. But that's okay. We kind of need a little bit of time to recover, and we need more cities in general. So before we do anything else, let's go into our diplomacy menu and take a look at Avelorn. If we can get them to randomly join our confederation, that would be awesome, but I don't really think it's going to happen. But we'll take a shot with Nagaryth too. And they confederated. So that gave us the Unicorn Gate. Little surprising, but that's okay. And that gave us another army stack, complete with a mage and a princess. Now, I like to leave the other elven leaders, the national leaders, as they are, to fit in the storyline, but we do have a mage here. And I don't know what we're going to call her. I want to give a little bit of flair and flavor to our own people. And of course bring as many members of the 232 in as we can, because, well, I love you guys, and I'm grateful to have you around. So, who should we pick this time? Let's go with Maya. Good old friend and a member of the 232. It's going to be really awesome. We are in the negatives for gold now, though, so what can we take out of this particular army stack to get us back towards the black? There we go. It's not too great overall, but still back in the green. And we do have a prince out here that is probably going to get ambushed by some Bretonnians. Hopefully we can run away from that fight, but we might lose that entire army stack. And they're not actually in the Unicorn Gate right now, so we'll set them in, and that'll be good. And our commandment, of course, we're going to increase the tax rate, which will help out our financial issues a little bit. We are losing ground to the Druki over here, but we were kind of expecting that, and I'm not too heartbroken about it. Our focus right now is on Ulthuan itself. We are slightly behind the Druki when it comes to shards, but we have a way to deal with them, hopefully. So let's go on and see what happens in the other nations' turns. Those black arcs are still worrying me. They're all over the place now. They can't do land invasions, but they can definitely support any Druki forces on the land via their bombardment abilities and the extra troops they bring to a fight. Not entirely great for us, not entirely bad either. It looks like Cothique and Avelorn are still kind of at odds with one another. I don't know what this Swordmaster of Loeth is doing. Hoeth, not Loeth. I don't know where that came from, but apparently it's a thing now. And down south, it looks like the knights and the vampires are still fighting it out. I'd love to see the vampires get beaten back a little bit. Definitely help out our case if we want to try and get onto those shores. The Bretonnians that are in the north, I was really worried they were going to attack one of our lords. Of course, we popped our hero out. What can she do? She can steal technology. We don't really need that per se. Let's see what Avelorn got. A little bit of money and some favorable winds. Definitely doesn't hurt. And we'll reattach on the Doge to that army. I wonder why everything's moving so quickly today. I'm doing that for the last little bit. Must be one of the settings I got changed over and I just haven't figured out which one it is. We are still looking at a rather large defensive force. We do outgun them. We have 4 Eagle Claws, a lot of archers, a couple of Great Eagles. They're still pretty hurt, so we're going to wait at least 1, maybe 2 more turns before we take Elasli. Sometimes I cannot pronounce the elven names. But we'll look at that in a different light later on. And right now we are definitely not looking too good over here. Our gold is very down. I would go out and try to collect that sea corpse with sunshine. Just don't know whether or not she's going to get engaged out at sea. But we do need the coin right now, so we're going to take the risk there. The Druki do have a couple of admirals, but I have faith in Sunshine. Which is a good thing, because she's always helping out. And we now have a goblin army over there. Has 8 stacks in it, and we don't know what they are.
I'm listening.
How close? Well, we can't get you too close. We'll send you down towards Tordranil. And possibly bring Will out to assist in that. Not really much we can do right now. We're going to save as much coin as we can. It's going to be a few rounds of just sitting back, relaxing, trying to make sure that our income stays pretty steady. Possibly have to pop some of our heroes out of Chaplain's army to go around and secure some influence for us, so we can start working on Avelorn a little bit more steadily. I seriously did not expect the Unicorn Gate to confederate with us. That was kind of a lucky break. Gives us solid control over all of Western Ulthuan, which doesn't really hurt. They were only 1 territory, which not that great, but having another gate protecting that side will definitely be good when we get up to the next ritual. The gates themselves are incredibly tough to take on. Their garrisons are massive. That's why I didn't want to engage the Phoenix Gate on its own, because, well, it had dragons, and they're tough to deal with. And of course, the Swordmasters are still dealing with the weird tors and everything down in the south. Caverns of Sotek is a ritual site, but it is so far away from our forces. I don't think we can get there and capture it. Probably should have been pushing a little bit more aggressively. And this is what I was worried about. The Druki Navy coming in to be a little bit more imposing on our coast. I don't know if that's necessarily the right word to use, but it's the one I'm going with right now. Clan Pestilence way down in the south. Looks like they're really dealing with some dwarves. Love to see those dwarves break out a little bit more and actually engage the Ratmen and everything. That'll slow them down. I'm kind of curious as to what Avelorn's going to do, because Cothique has an army there, and they're at war right now, as far as I remember. So if Cothique and Avelorn start firing it off pretty heavily, that might be a big deal. That goblin army kind of worries me. How they got onto Ulthuan. Can't be entirely certain. But we'll see what they do on this turn. If they sack one of our towns or anything, we'll have to deal with them the old-fashioned way. By which I mean lots and lots and lots of arrows. Alright, so we're still sitting pretty good.
Loyal prince.
Let's send Arathon down towards the Sea Corps. What is the garrison in Xandri like? Very, very weak. Just one vampire.
Can I offer assistance?
Our unit of Silver Helms, a Phoenix, and a Mage enough. We could put them over and recruit some Spearmen, which would definitely help, and then we could have a foothold on the southern continent. Been trying to do it for a while now, but it hasn't really worked out that well. So let's look at what's going on with this goblin army. They now have 12 units.
We march on. Impossible.
None shall live.
And we are going to go into this
The
fight.
Asur need me.
So it looks like they have a bunch of Spider Riders, Spider Rider Archers, some Feral Bastiladons, and an Anorok Spider. This is going to be a tough fight, but we gotta do it. We can't afford to leave these goblins out there. And Spider Riders do have an advantage in forests, so I'm expecting them to come down this side here. If we can hold this, we might have a chance, but it really depends on where our reinforcements arrive from and the far side of the field. It's definitely not going to help too much.
Orders received.
But if we can get our forces up and in place near the top of this hill, we might be able to outshoot them and hold on while our reinforcements come in from behind. Alright, so let's pause just quickly here. Let's get our archers. Where is that Anorok Spider? It's right there. I'm not overtly worried about too much. I think our forces can outfight this fairly easily. We're going to leave our bolt thrower on heavy and shoot that spider. It's more the setup for the rest of the troops that I'm worried about. We really didn't check what Maya had coming into this. But we can throw a Hex onto that Anorok, because it's going to be the largest pain in the behind. Helps if I hit Shift and not Caps Lock. We'll set up those troops right there with our Lady Lord behind it. And these troops we will set up as a second rank. We'll see how that plays out. Kind of collapse down onto them and hopefully start shooting that Anorok Spider fairly quickly. They do have a fair amount of archery in their Spider Riders.
Eagle Claw.
I'm just hoping that our bolt thrower can outdo their Anorok.
Ulfwan Mage.
It looks like we are getting the first shots in. These Spider Riders back here are getting fairly significantly shot up by our troops. And it looks like Latania is already starting to engage. Our spearmen are getting shot, but that's okay. They're kind of a distraction force right now. We can recover afterwards. The more damage we can do at the start of this, the better off we're going to be. Especially with an Anorok somewhere out there in the woods.
Spearman! Orifan! Prince of Ulthuan!
It's just a matter of choosing what our targets are going to be right now. Let's pause and get a little bit of a better view over here. Pretty sure that the Anorok spider is going to be what's going to cause the most damage. They do have a feral Bastillodon coming in. So let's actually send these 2 units over there to fight that. The Spear Guard can shoot that. The Anorok's a little bit too close for us to do a whole lot against it. So those Goblin Archers are going to get hit by our Eagle Claw. Send another Hex out, and we don't really have any items, so this will pan out how it pans out. Thankfully, the Spider Riders are fairly weak, all things considered. Still not a great idea to engage them if you don't have to. But that Anorok is definitely tough. Let's get our Liege Lady to start shooting the Anorok too. We've broken its morale, but it's still a very, very large spider.
Ulthuan mage. Winds of magic rise.
Looks like our archers are in trouble back here. But our main forces down front are doing okay.
Ulthuan mage. Lakoi Soraya.
Northern Seaguard!
Looks like we've routed the feral Bastillodon. The Anorok spider is kind of wavering.
Eagle Claw!
But it's managed to get into our Eagle Claw itself, so we have to remount the Bolt Thrower.
To the fray!
See if we can fire at those forest goblins.
Swordmaster at Poet!
Let's retask some of those units. Now, how are Will's troops doing?
Archers!
Looks like they're doing fairly okay.
For Northern! What orders?
Still getting pretty shot up, but
Archers! Sail!
it's okay for now. This fighting on 2 fronts thing is a little bit
Swordmaster at Poet!
tough. And again, they're still going after our war machines, which kind of sucks. Now, looks like their wizard's losing, but those guys are going to get hit in the rear here pretty quick.
Kill them! As you
Our
say,
Eagle Claw unit,
loyal!
get back onto that Bolt Thrower.
Death to all! It shall be done! Attack! We will obey! Asur, attack!
Battle is pretty back and forth, all things considered. Let's get those archers to go back up and start shooting those Spider Rider archers, while our Swordsmasters chase after them. It's a little bit of a battle of wills right now, and that Anorok is losing, but it's killing a lot of elves in the process.
Understood! Orifan! Acknowledged!
We have completely routed some of their forces.
Princess. Valui.
Eagle Claw.
I'm hoping that we can break them entirely. I don't even know where their leader is at anymore. And Will is taking some considerable amount of damage, but
Assyrian
it's
guides
not
us.
too bad.
We advance.
See if we can pull those spider riders back in range of our archers and just completely demoralize them. And they're all routed over there. And there we go. Lost about the same amount of troops, which is kind of bad considering we're fighting goblins, but mounted archers and a lot of cavalry versus an entirely infantry force.
The greater good has triumphed. Going forth.
Time is of the essence.
And Maya has leveled up.
Mighty warrior.
So let's actually get her something that's a little bit more offensive than defensive. We'll go with Tempest.
Prince of
And
Outward.
Will has leveled up. We'll get him Sword Player.
To war.
And at this point we are outside of what I call reasonable, so we're just going to finish off,
One triumphant. They
the
must
goblins.
die for order.
restore our troops, and our generals gained a lot of experience from that. So we're going to give Valor of Ages to Will, and then you can go back to Tor Anlak. We're going to get Latania to go to Tor Dranil. Bring Sunshine back into port, and avoid the Druki fleets. Definitely didn't hurt the coffers at all.
To war. For order.
And you're one turn away from a siege tower. But we do have ladders, and we do have a fair amount of infantry. And the only thing that's really worrying in there is the Lothern Sea Guard, but we outshoot them. If we can get all the archers grouped up into one big group, we can just go along the walls. But you know what? We're going to continue the siege, at least till we get at least one siege tower. And then we'll deal with them straight off.
Ridiculous.
And what is Ingmir doing? Huh. Back over in the west.
Lord of the Phoenix Court.
Losing a little bit of public order, but that's kind of okay. PC, let's go get you to secure some influence. Not a whole lot, but it will be enough to dump into Avelorn to kind of counter the Confederation penalty, because we do want to ally with them eventually. Still going to be a little bit tough. And then, have we moved you yet this turn? Yes, we have. So let's go on to the other nations' turns and see what they end up doing. It's nice to see that Teclis's forces are taking on the Skaven and winning. Eventually we want to confederate with them too. It would be nice. And there is the big magi himself. It's got a lot of heroes out and about too. Kind of surprising to see them all the way over there, though. That is a long way away from where they start. is kind of worrying. Whatever the Druki are up to right now, they're ahead of us on shards. Well, scrolls for them, but shards for us. Fragments, I should say. Way fragments. And the fact that they haven't completely taken out Slaver's Point or Black Creek Spire yet is a little worrying, but not too terribly so. It's just a curious twist, is all. You'd think they'd be going after pretty much every settlement they can. Ideally, I'd like for them to start their next ritual and be able to disrupt it. That would set them back a rather large amount. And there is a skull reef up there. Don't think we have a general in range to go collect it, but 10,000 gold right now would definitely not hurt. All the way in the south. Kind of curious. Other nations are acting a little weird. I would have thought that the Southern Sentinels would have gone harder towards us than away from us. They're friendly with us right now, but it doesn't really stop them from being an opposed nation. Oh, please don't take over Xandri. Please don't take over Xandri. I think they're probably going to go after Xandri. Which does not help us in the least. What are the Strigos doing? And while their armies aren't exactly powerful right now, the Hmong are in the position that they could do a lot of damage to us. Alright, so Senina is now insane. I'm not saying anything. So we got a Sword of Bloodshed and 2,500 gold. Doesn't hurt us too badly. Numas has a lot of Graveguard in it, but look at those army stacks. Do not want to go to war with Wasoran.
Asur Prince.
I would love to go and fight Xandri if we can. I just want a foothold somewhere down here. Not really sure where we can end up with a foothold. Top knots don't really have much left. However, we did gain that Sword of Bloodshed. And Will
A promising lieutenant.
is going to get his hands on it. Oh, we also have a Bane Shield and a Helm of Discord. We're going to go with the Bane Shield. Sword of Bloodshed. Ward save. Might as well give him a few things to help him out since, well, we lost a couple of really, really good people. That should help him out, at least in the short term.
Princess of Althran.
So Latanya can go into Tor Dranil. And Will, you can go back up to Tor Anlek. Now, help on the cash front too. How are we looking over at Yvresse? Ah, now I see what, Ingmir?
Futile.
Yes, Ingmir. He's worried about the pirates.
No mercy.
But we have a lot of potential to win this fight. So we're going to go in and see how it shakes out. If we end up having to fall back, that's okay, because we'll have weakened the defenses, and then we can just lay siege with Phoenix's army and not hurt too badly. It's pretty much take out their archers and win. So Phoenix's forces are going to be coming in from over there. What I want to do is group up these eagles, get them set up in the woods.
Eagle claw.
Group up our eagle claws. Have them set up as close as we can get them so they can start peppering things on the walls. Maybe not that close. And we want them on the multi-shot. We do have some Illyrian Reaver archers, which we're going to be a little bit cheeky with. I'm going to set them up down here.
Illyrian archers.
The mainline archers are going to set up... Actually, they're pretty good where they are. And we have spearmen and 2 sets of swordmasters. I do want the spearmen and the swordmasters to swap their equipment. So the spearmen are on that, and we have swordmasters of Hoeth on the rest. So we'll start really quick and go straight into a pause menu. We'll have our archers start engaging them. Our eagle claws shooting up there. Basically, we're going to storm the walls on this side. Well, Phoenix provides leadership. Send our great eagles up close, and have our Illyrian Reavers go snipe those Sea Guard. Now, from over here is where we're going to get all of Phoenix and his reinforcements, and they should have a free shot right to the walls.
For duty. We will obey. We will obey. It will be done.
Alright. So we're going to group them up, just so we can differentiate. And then we're going to start getting them up onto the walls as quickly as we can. Of course, Phoenix's archers, get them up close. Phoenix himself is going to come in with them.
We will obey. Loyal.
And as his troops keep filtering onto the field,
It shall be done.
we're going to try and do as much as we can
Without
to whittle down the enemy forces so that his troops can get up on the walls without too much difficulty. Or don't you have... It's just an area effect spell. I think it's Phoenix that has Bound Fiery Convocation. But their Lothern Sea Guard are really, really not liking the amount of arrows and bolts that are flying at them. Already, this battle is kind of looking better than the other ones that we've been fighting lately. I hate that we have to fight fellow elves,
I will obey.
but
We have untold magical power.
at the same time, our swordmasters are getting up onto the walls. We're starting to do some damage. Our spearmen are getting up. If we can take and hold the walls, we are in a very, very good place.
As you say.
Well, that got a fair number of those white lions. Not as many as I could have hoped for, though hoping for any getting killed is kind of self-defeating, if you think about it. Now, where are the rest of their troops all going?
Archers! Steel! For duty!
Alright, Oryx archers, we want you guys to get up on the walls, because you're starting to get shot up pretty badly by the cannon that they still hold. Okay, it's saying victory's in our grasp, I just don't know where. Their Seaguard up here are getting speared up a little bit. Should be a good battle,
We
though.
have failed! There is no hope! We go!
Alright, our Great Eagles, you can go into those Lothern Seaguard right there. Finish routing them. If we can keep them on the back foot, that would be great. I don't necessarily want to lose the Great Eagles, but we definitely don't want them having full troops. And they're going to get charged by those cavalry, which is going to hurt a little bit.
Pull back!
One set of our archers is kind of getting screwed up a little bit.
Swordmaster at Hoeth! We will obey! Swiftly!
But we are inside the walls now.
March! Draw back! Ancestors!
And I think we're taking the walls over here pretty effectively. Wasn't really the group of eagle claws I wanted. I'm just gonna stop you guys. Let you fire at will. Hopefully not the commander will, because that would be generally bad. It's never nice when your own troops try to shoot at you.
Restoring order!
See if we can deal with those silver helms a little bit.
Spearmen! It shall be done!
We're looking okay, actually. We do control the gatehouse, so if we take
It will be done!
these Illyrians,
Assyrian guides us!
probably come in now.
Deliver! Apace! What orders? Advance!
Did we manage to take this gate? We did.
Fire! As you say! Illyrian archers!
Which means Phoenix's archers can start shooting at those silver helms. And really tear into their numbers while Phoenix himself keeps them tied up. I am not hating how this is turning out right now. And our Great Eagles look like they're starting to rally.
We will obey!
Though our Great Eagles are taking some damage. Let's try and get them out of there. And we'll get these Eagle Claws. Shoot over the walls a little bit.
Sail!
It's pretty much going in our favor. We've completely broken the White Lions up on this wall, and there we go. Still too many elves died, but way too many elves died. They had a mage that entire time and didn't do anything with it? That's okay.
The greater good has triumphed. Occupy their land.
Occupy it. And we gained a Banner of Swiftness. Secured Southern Yvresse, which is really, really helpful. And PC, we're going to get you to try and secure some more influence for us.
Destruction.
Only 6? That's a little weak.
Your request.
And PC actually gained a skill point off that. Let's actually get you the War to Hoeth. The next time you go into combat, we want you to be able to shrug off the hits pretty well. Making a fair amount of gold per turn now. And Auric gained a rank. Give him the War to Loek. Make him harder to hit with arrows.
Protector of Ulthuan.
We'll let these guys regen just a bit before we go up and continue the fight with Yvresse. Not really a good idea to go headlong into things. That's one problem with these games. There's so much going on, I forget what I have and have not done on turn, even though I'm talking while I'm doing it. So, there's that. Still kind of considering what we should do up here. I mean, as soon as we move out of Gron, the Mung are going to cause us problems. If we could take the Great Arena, it would be great, but they have a ton of troops there. And 2 pretty large army stacks here. They're mostly large army stacks because they have full units of trolls.
Can I offer assistance?
Not exactly a good situation.
Lady of the Phoenix Court. It
Alright,
shall
so
be done.
Sunshine, you can go back into your normal stance, and let's see if we can get you something else to help out. I can really think if we could start hiring Dragon Princes there now, but don't really want to do that right off the bat. Think we can hire them here? We can indeed. 371 a turn. That'll still leave us in the positive. So there's about 700 a turn. And let's see what the other nations do. We'll go with that. Now, if we could eventually take Nagaron, we've tried it so many times to take it. Like 3 or 4 at this point. I'd need another army stack over there to support the good chaplain. It's just... Nagaron is so tough because of that black dragon. It really, really is. So ideally, it would be one of the close cities to Nagaron that was part of the ritual, and then we could send the good chaplain there to deal with it when it pops up. Otherwise, I'm going to have to just build up my army stack and wait for them to try and pop off, or we can build up and do our ritual and then really, really race the last one by going hard at the Druki. You never know how it's going to turn out. Nice little storm over the ocean there. I say it far too much, but I'm so impressed with the graphics in this game. Like, it's just gorgeous, and they really captured everything. And every time I sit down to play it, it's like a new sense of wonder when you're looking at all these places you've read about, and when you're painting your armies and everything. It's just, it's gorgeous. And now to actually have a visual concept of what a Black Ark actually is in your head. I mean, the Gotrek and Felix novels did a good job of describing them. But seeing one for real compared to the regular Druki cutters and outriding ships is just, it's just wow. Oh wow. Avelorn lost. And then lost the Phoenix Gate. Wow. Okay then. That must be a very effective army stack. But that just completely crippled Avelorn. the entirety of the Inner Kingdom could potentially be open for invasion now. That's something I'm gonna have to seriously consider here, because that really screwed up Avelorn. That was a massive stack that just got completely destroyed. And Yvresse only has that one army right there. It's moving away from their capital to deal with some pirates. So even if they do come back, they're going to be weakened. Or Phoenix may have gotten in luck. But if Avelorn just lost their largest army stack with no available troops to replace them, just lost the Phoenix Gate, we might be looking towards Cothique as our next Confederate target. And Yvresse won. Holy crap, they are good on the ocean. They do that constantly. Every time I think they're getting in trouble, just bam. They turn around and completely obliterate the forces going after them. That said, they're not going to have any bases to fall back to in the near future, because we're going to deal with them. Then we might deal with the Pirates of Sartosa, depending on how things go. Alright, so just before we call it a week, that was kind of crazy. We know that Sarah herself is now mounted on a dragon. At least one of the lesser dragons. This is kind of interesting. Does Avelorn have anything left? Anything at all? Not really. Where is Cothique on here? Yeah, we're definitely going to improve our relations with Cothique. And before we call it a week, where are you? There you are.
The Phoenix Court awaits your plea with interest. Quite impossible.
Okay, you don't want to sign a non-aggression pact with us. Because they were friends with Yvresse. We just confederated with Lothern, so they don't really like us because of that. But depending on how this goes, they don't have any forces on the inner part of Safari. Oh, that could be so good. But anyway, guys, if you did like the video, please consider hitting that like button. And if you'd like to join up with the 232, see yourself pop up in one of the Let's Plays, or just be part of our community, just hit that subscribe button, and make sure you turn your notifications on so you don't miss when a new video goes up. Remember, guys, life is a game, so play to win, and until next time, take care.